Hi, I'm Veronica Wasek with 5-Minute Bookkeeping, and I empower virtual bookkeeping pros to become confident professionals and business owners. Today, I am talking about how to pick a bookkeeping niche. How to pick a niche for your bookkeeping business, or is it niche? Well, I'll call it niche since my international friends call it niche. There is so much talk about picking a niche, picking the right niche, picking a profitable niche. And honestly, up until a few months ago, I thought that I had enough of a niche specializing in QuickBooks Online. But recently, I changed my niche to e-commerce and specifically working with creative e-commerce sellers. And boy, has it made a difference in my business. So today I'm going to give you some tips for finding the right niche and helping you make that decision so that you can have more confidence in the niche that you pick. So how do you pick a niche? Well, first understand that there are different kinds of niches that you can specialize in or that you can focus in. It might be a client's industry. It might be their personality. It could be the software that they're working on. It could be the apps that they're using. So you could even focus on QBO and a specific app that your ideal client is using. I happen to specialize, as I said, in creative e-commerce sellers using QuickBooks Online. They might be using Amazon, Shopify, and other marketplaces. And so I specialize in all of those. I have a friend who specializes in construction contractors, and specifically contractors who use QuickBooks Online and Buildertrend. So you can even niche specifically to an industry, to a type of client, to personality, like creatives, for example, and then even a specific app like Buildertrend in my friend's case. When deciding on a niche, what I would encourage you to do is think of what you're passionate about. What are you interested in? I really didn't make the connection between my love for arts and crafts and working with creative people until just a few months ago. And the reason was because I was compartmentalizing my personal interests from my business and realized that really what I'm most passionate about is working with creative business owners, and in particular creative online sellers. So focus on what you're interested in the areas that you love. Do you love pets? Well, perhaps you should be working with veterinarians or people in the pet industry. Do you have experience working in the retail industry? Then work with retailers. Do you love online shopping? Then focus on e-commerce. Do you love eating and cooking? Then focus on restaurants. Now, many of you are asking, how do I learn about all of these industries? Where can I get training on how to work with all of these different industries? Well, the reality is that there is not a whole lot of bookkeeping and accounting training to work with these specific niches, not at this time. So what you have to do is really to get to know these business owners, understand what their pain points are, understand some of the differences in how you would approach doing their bookkeeping, and I will cover that in future videos. But you might have some clients who are invoicing for services, some that are using a point of sale system like retailers and restaurants, some that are selling online like e-commerce. And so there are specific ways in which you do their bookkeeping, and again, I will cover that in future videos. Now, once you decide on a particular niche or a couple of niches that you think would work for you, the next thing you want to do is then find out everything you can about your ideal clients, and also find out where are they hanging out online, if they have associations, Facebook groups, meetups, trainings, conventions. Look for that online. Let's go back to veterinarians. Let's see what we can find out about veterinarians by doing some online searches. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can find a chart of accounts for veterinarians. Okay, so it looks like we have some veterinary chart of accounts. Take a look. And already we can see we have an ad for some veterinarians in the Houston area where I live. So you might take a look at that website, see how they are advertising and promoting themselves on their website specifically to veterinarians. We have a veterinary chart of accounts. You can even see images of some veterinary chart of accounts. So let's take a look at these images. Something here on Pinterest. Okay, that's not really an accounting chart of accounts. Right, let's take a look at this one. Okay, this looks like it might be something we can use. Here's something interesting. It's a veterinary clinic terminology. It's very small. Let's take a look. Oh, okay, great. So here's a chart of accounts. So you can see that you can find some chart of accounts for veterinarians. Let's look for some veterinary associations. I typically will look for an association in my state. So I just entered Veterinarian Association Texas, and I can see that there's a Texas Veterinary Association. Okay, Texas Veterinary Medical Association. Then who can join? You might see then if you can join as a vendor or supplier. There's the Texas Board of Veterinary Medical Examiners. There's a Facebook page as well. There's an Equine Veterinary Association. So I talked about niches. Here's an idea for a micro niche, working with equine veterinarians. So as you can see, there are a lot of associations just in the state of Texas. Of course, I know Texas is big. You might also look for just general veterinarian associations throughout the US or your country. And again, see if you can join them as a vendor or supplier. In many cases, you can find some of these associations in which you can join and then pay to be listed in their supplier list. And many of the veterinarians will look for suppliers directly in those associations and then contact you. Something else you can do is to do a Facebook search for any veterinarian group. So let's take a look. Okay, so maybe veterinarian groups. Make sure that you click on groups. Okay, so we have Ask a Veterinarian. This is Veterinarians, Vet Techs, and Vet Assistants Unite. Veterinarian. So you might look to see if you qualify to join some of these groups. And now let's look for some veterinarian software that integrates with QuickBooks Online. Okay, so I'm doing a search for veterinary practice management software, QuickBooks Online. Great, okay, so we got Vet Badger. That connects with QuickBooks Online. It's actually listed in apps.com. This is an app that is approved by QuickBooks. You can also look for the best veterinary integrations for QuickBooks using Get App. Okay, here's another one, veterinary. Oh, this is an accounting firm. Okay, so again, you might look at some of these accounting firms that specialize in veterinarians to see how they are marketing themselves. We've got Capterra, we have Avimark. Okay, Hippo Manager is one. Let's take a look at that one. So that integrates with QuickBooks Online. And here's a great tip. Reach out to these app developers and tell them that you want to learn more about their software and ask them to give you a demo. And you might even ask them, since they work directly with veterinarians, what are the biggest challenges that veterinarians are experiencing with their business? And another great tip is to reach out to your own veterinarian. If you have pets and you have a veterinarian, then reach out to your veterinarian, maybe take them to lunch, take them to grab a cup of coffee, and then interview them. Ask them about what their biggest needs are on the financial side of their business and what their biggest business challenges are. I showed you how to do this with veterinarians. You can do this with nearly any other business. So I encourage you to use Google Google is your friend, your best friend in this case, to start researching these niches and find out more about them. And again, don't be afraid if you can't find a chart of accounts or other information about the actual accounting and bookkeeping for these industries. It is a challenge right now that a lot of this information is not available. My biggest advice to you is don't be afraid to narrow down your focus and to really specialize and work on a niche. We tend to think that, hey, if I just work with anybody for anything, that I'll get more clients, when actually the reality is the complete opposite. You will find more clients if you narrow down your focus, if you clarify your marketing message and are very clear on who your ideal client is and what industry they work with, because you'll be more memorable. And also your marketing will be a whole lot easier to do. That's what I'm finding out in my own firm, that my marketing now is very targeted. And even looking at our workflows and our efficiency, that will be so much more efficient working with one type of business. I'm Veronica Wasek with 5-Minute Bookkeeping. Check the description box below for the link to get my free virtual bookkeepers toolbox, as well as the link to join my Facebook community. I'm here to help you guys, so let me know in the comments if there are any other topics that you'd like for me to cover in the future. And if this content is helping you, make sure that you comment, like, share, and subscribe to my channel so you can get all of my latest videos.